Shalom Yashrala, this your brother Dawudah, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of great millstone that taught us this truth and I rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump to this here article. It says Pope apologizes for evil. It says the Roman Catholic leaders sought forgiveness from the Canadian indigenous community. And this is another thing that you're starting to see going on over the last couple of years and everything else like that, where whether it's the Queen of England or, her grandsons, apologizing for quote unquote the slavery that happened in the the Caribbeans and things like that. Right, a lot of these different countries and things like that. But as the vibration of the men of the Lord has been exposing Esau, all right, the whole world is waking up to your wickedness, man, and calling you out over these things. So now it has to be addressed. You also see a lot of these big major corporations making statements regarding, the founding of these nations. And where do you think that comes from, man? All right, we went in and did the work and found out, about the origins of a lot of these companies and, pushed that vibration out over the internet waves and things like that. You think that these companies just all of a sudden say, you know what, nobody really knows about how we got our started, how we got our funding and everything else. The first things to be insured, as far as insurance goes, nobody knows about that. So, we gonna just all of a sudden tell everybody that we got our founding off of slavery. Nah, man. All right, we've been putting out their vibration into the world, man. And so now all of a sudden these people have to so-called answer for these things, even in these churches when it comes to certain things, the MOTB, Jacob and Esau. A lot of these different pastors are having to, have to answer to some of these things, man. You got too many people in the congregations and too many people around the globe that's asking these questions, and you starting to see, the change that's going on, man. I think that I think this is TD Jakes, all right, just was speaking on these new modern day masculine women and things, talking about they don't need no man. But now what? That vibration of women being subjected to their husbands and things like that. Even they pushing these things nowadays because why, man? And who's predominantly in their churches? So is it really necessary for those women to be hearing that message? You think about it, it's like, no, that's not what you would think is going on. But when you got a house full of these or a church full of these women that's asking for you to stop telling them swelling lies and everything else like that, asking for truth, man, that truth is going out there, man. So you're starting to see even a great divide with these things. But here we go with the Pope. All right, this is Pope Francis on Monday begged for forgiveness from Canada's indigenous community, apologizing for the Roman Catholic Church participating in the project of residential schools, which the Canadian government body has described as genocidal. And now it's funny that people will sit there and acknowledge these things when they say it, but when we bring out the wickedness of Esau, man, they call it so-called hate speech by just telling you what you've done to our people, man. All right, we're not actually out here doing these things and killing people off and everything. We're just bringing to the light of your atrocious past, man. All right, matter of fact, let me grab this precept real quick. Let's see. Matter of fact, Daniel 9. Give me 1 second. I'm going to read it in both the KJV and the NLT, but it says, Daniel 9 and 12, it says, and he has confirmed his words, which he spake against us and against our judges that judged us by bringing upon us a great evil. And you can go back into the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, you can read about the curses, starting around verse 15 on down, all right, about all the curses that will fall upon us. All right, if we didn't keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Now, part of those curses is what? That the Lord would bring a fierce nation upon us that wasn't going to show mercy to the young or the old. All right, and that was being played out, being fulfilled by whom? Esau, Edom. All right. It says, for under the whole heaven have been done as have been done unto Jerusalem. All right, let me read this in the NLT. It says, you have kept your word and done to us and to our rulers exactly as you warned. Never has there been such a disaster as happened in Jerusalem. All right. And part of that major disaster was what happened in these latter days about, now we've been in captivity for a long time, but, prior to, us coming over to the Americas and everything, you could read about a lot of that in the scriptures. But when you get to, the very latter days of the transatlantic slave trade, man. All right. The last time when the whole house of Israel was shaken up and put in a hardcore bondage and things like that, man. All right, the things that happen even after slavery, because a lot of the atrocious things happened to Judah after so-called slavery ended, with the lynching and the burnings and the hangings and things like that, man. All right, you know what happened to the Northern Kingdom, as we're reading about these I forgot how they call them, but they're these so-called like schools or whatever, you know, where they so-called re-educate Jake, man. They go and they cut their hair and everything else like that and change up how they are, change their, you know, you got a lot of these Northern Kingdom Gadites that don't even know that they Gadites. All right, they think they something that some of them will call themselves so-called white people. Some of them will call themselves you know, like a Hispanic, which, you know, you could say they all Northern Kingdom, but there's actually differences in the tribes. All right, but nevertheless, you have these people in such a depressed state that the majority of Gad dies off from what, you know, alcohol abuse, drug abuse, suicide. All right, from just depression. All right, they're on these reservations. You got them captive in their own homeland, man. All right, and you call them how you call them, Indians or savages is what that word means. All right, but nevertheless, you come over here and you, how do you say, re-educated them and everything else like that, man. Stole their identity and everything, man. All right. So it says Pope Francis on Monday begged for forgiveness from the Canadian Indigenous community, apologizing for the Roman Catholic Church's participation in the project of residential schools, which a Canadian government has described as genocidal. The pontiff is on a 6-day apology tour of Canada, demanded since last year by President Minister Justin Trudeau. Dear Indigenous people of Canada, I have come, and see, this is another thing about those things, man. Nowadays, you know, you talk to these people, all the Indigenous people of Canada. Who the hell are these people? Like, when you say this on like the outward perspective, who the hell you think is so-called receiving this word? They basically talking to Edomites at this point in time, because these Edomites and stole their identity, thinking it's talking to them. Just like you come over to the United States and you start talking to these folks, to the Indigenous people of America, the so-called white man, like, yeah, we're the Indigenous people to America. But like, bro, y'all done stole our you stole our identity. All right, then you want to come over here and act like you was the original people that was over here. But nevertheless, you go back into the history, y'all came over here with Columbus and them and DeSoto and them, and then y'all took over the land. Y'all wasn't the people that was already over here, man. But nevertheless, you know, you let enough time go by, Esau will sit here and whitewash every damn thing, man. All right, he tell you, you think about who was the original Spaniards and everything else. Like, oh no, we were Spaniards. You know, we were Spaniards. No, y'all was the Spaniards that came over and took over Jake and quote unquote taught them the Spanish, called them the Spanish. That was y'all who did that. But before that, we was the Moors in Spain, man. Y'all stole that from us. All right, same way in Europe. Oh no, we're the original Europeans. Nah, bro, we was the original Europeans and everything else like that. But see, they go over here and hijack every damn thing, and then at a point in time like this, when everything is whitewashed, now they're sitting over here apologizing to the so-called quote unquote natives in Canada. But then Esau been over there so long, they've been brainwashed, been inheriting these lies. They think that they talking to them. All right. Oh yeah, we need to get some quote unquote payback for the Indigenous people of Canada and everything. And who you think is gonna be the beneficiaries of that damn that payment, man? All right, it's gonna be Esau. All right, now granted, we're not really looking for no damn reparations from Esau giving us reparations. The Most High already got a reparations package set for us, man. And them damn Edomites, them and their whole generations is gonna be our reparations. Them, the land, their resources, everything. We gonna own them. All right, so it ain't no amount of money, no apologies, and we'll get into it in the scriptures. But hey, man, he's just trying to apologize right now because he's being called out. You know, the scriptures say, let me grab that real quick. It's Isaiah chapter 14 and verse, is it 16? I think it is. Yeah, 16 and 17. The point is in 17. Isaiah 14 and 16. It says, "They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake the kingdoms, that made the world a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners?" All right, and they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, Is this the man? All right, because you have the sentiment of, the Holy Catholic Church, we're so righteous, we're this, we that. Hey, man, like the scripture say, he transformed himself into an angel of light, man. All right, this nigga's the devil, man. All right, he hijacked our whole system and everything, man. All right, and played the harlot, and he came into the you know how people, and then see, this is, we're not gonna get too far into it, but this is how the damn devil worked, man. He didn't came and hijack religion and everything else like that, or you know, our culture. All right, and what he does is he shits on everybody in the name of us in our culture. So people just look at them and just be like, oh, well, these people are the worst people on the face of the earth, and these people do so much stuff. You know how many people have been dying off in the name of religion, in the name of the Bible and things. But that was Esau the whole time, man. All right, this was the damn devil that was doing all these things and everything else like that, man. It ain't got nothing. Well, he did have to play his part. He was given a dominion over the earth. The scripture did say that he was that red horse was going to take peace from the earth, and it was given unto him a great sword. He was playing his role, but nevertheless, he did it under the guise of, we don't want to really mention certain names, but he's taking on the name of Jacob right about now. We'll just put it that way. If you know who Jacob's name was changed to, all right, and then the head tribe of that, all right, they use that name, all right, and say that those are those people, and then whenever they get caught and get busted doing anything else, the whole world hates this certain group of people instead of who they really are. If we knew that, like, these are the Edomites that the scriptures talk about and everything else like that, these ain't these folks, but see, they use this deception, all right, just like all these other things, man. They talking about the Indians, the savages. These was the heathens that was doing all these things. They called us heathens and things like that, man. All right, but nevertheless, or the angelic sons of Isaac, man. That's what Anglo-Saxons means. All right, they didn't hijack that name, but they're the demonic sons of Isaac, man. All right, they're the Edomites. All right, Abraham had Isaac. Isaac had two sons, Jacob and Esau, evil one and a righteous one. All right, and he's the one. He's claiming to be the so-called righteous one. He's claiming to be Jacob, but that's far from the truth. He's actually Esau, man. All right, but it says, Isaiah 14:16, and they that see thee shall nearly look upon thee and consider thee. You over considering, wait, if y'all was, first of all, if y'all was the children of the Lord, if y'all was the Israelites, right, and you talk about, with their, what you call that, what's that, the Balfour Declaration, right? When you go into that and these group of people, we'll call them that, all right, when they talking about some, what was it, 1948, 1940, it's like 1948, 1949, around that time. They're like, oh, the prophecy is being fulfilled. We're coming back to our homeland and everything else like that. But like, well, you didn't read the whole prophecy. The prophecy said that they was going to live in peace. They wasn't going to learn war no more. And right after the fact, y'all went over there was what? All out war. You've been at war. You still at war to this damn day, man. All right, people should be considering these things like, wait a minute. If they supposed to be such righteous and holy people, how come y'all still at war over there? Where's the Lord at? I thought the Lord was going to put y'all back. I thought the Lord was going to be reigning on the earth at this point in time. How come y'all the one over here polluting and destroying the earth the whole damn time? How come y'all ain't following nothing that's in the scriptures? Well, some of them actually do follow some of the things to the scriptures, but that's on a low level. The regular population of them people, you know what I'm saying? They, they're on a low level, but the upper elites and things like that, man, is in these groups, man, they far from the doing anything righteous, man. All right. And we're not going to say what, let me put it to you this way. Back in the old days, they used to worship a god named Molech. All right. If you understood what, how you would worship Molech, these same people do the same thing today, man. All right. But nevertheless, Bohemian Grove and all those types of things. But you see what Esau is doing today, man. You would be considering like, well, if he was righteous, these things would, how come the world's in the worst state ever? Like, they in their homeland, the Lord put them back in their homeland. Shouldn't we be living happily ever after right about now? Why is everything is in turmoil? How come the whole earth is in disarray right now? How come the earth is speaking out against you, man? All right. So look, now they over here scratching their heads saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake the kingdoms? I thought there was going to be no more war, but y'all done tore up and uprooted every damn nation, all the kings from their thrones on the whole earth. It says that made the world a wilderness. Wouldn't the Lord come back and restore the whole earth to its pristine state? All right. But what is these people that's calling themselves Jacob? Slack, give me a second. What are these people that's actually calling themselves Jacob doing to the earth? Are they putting the earth back into its normal state, or are they destroying the earth? And some would say, oh no, they're working for this and they're working for that and everything. Like, bro, half the problem, like, look, you can't be like, oh, we're going to praise this dude because he put the fire out in the house. Like, but he's also the same person who started the fire in the house, man. We wouldn't have to be putting out no fire if you didn't start the fire. So we're not going to give you no praises for putting out the fire that you started in the house just so you can get some so-called praises over doing something good. Nah, bro, that's what you were supposed to do because you the one started this here mess, man. All right, like your parents will tell you, you don't get no credit for doing what you spill your damn drink in the house. I'm not going to be like, oh, good job, son, because you cleaned it up. No, you're supposed to clean it up, man. You the one spilled it, man. All right. It says that made the world a wilderness, that destroyed the cities thereof. All right. And that's what Esau wound up doing, man. Whitewashing everything, man. Going around the whole earth and taking people and oppressing them, man, even in their heritage, as the scripture says, man. All right. He went around the whole earth and how they say, like, right now they mad about these what do you call it, these statues being torn down and everything else like that, these Confederate statues and these different places. What do you think Esau did to the original things that was up in the world, man? All right, he went around and destroyed all these things, man, trying to hide history, man. All right, cutting the noses off these statues and everything. It ain't no coincidence why, like, a lot of these statues is missing noses and lips and things like that, man. While all the images on the face of the earth has been whitewashed. Well, that's a prophecy as well. You know, that he would cover the faces of the judges thereof and paint the likeness of his own self. All right, but hey, man, why do you think Esau's doing all these things, man? All right, destroying the ways of the earth, turning things upside down and inside out, man. All right, the point here says that open not the house of his prisoners. All right, and now look, when Esau came over here to these places, man, all right, you know, he took us into captivity, all right, and we still in his hands to the same very day. So the Pope going around, quote unquote, apologizing for these things, don't make it like, bro, like, wait, you know, it's like, for instance, to give you an example, I come over here and I steal your car, right, and your house, and then I see you walking out in the rain or something like that. I pull up on you in your car, roll down the window, hey, my bad for stealing your car, and speed off, man. That don't make it right just because I apologize. Like, well, he did say sorry, but you still got my car. You still gonna ride off in my car. You gonna still go post up in my house and everything. How does that make it right just because you apologize? Damn, man, I'm sorry that I stole your car, stole your house, but hey, this AC feel nice, man. All right, me being dry up in this car while you out there walking feel nice, but hey, I'm sorry about it, man. All right, this is the damn devil, man. The audacity of this man. All right, they say, you know, actions speak louder than words, or when they take you into the like the prison system, they call it not reform or rehabilitation. Basically, like you being rehabilitated and things like that. Like, oh, he didn't serve this time, he's being rehabilitated. But then if you go to jail for doing something, you know, like let's say stealing cars or killing people or doing whatever it is that you're doing, and you get out and you continue to do that same crime, they be like, you wasn't rehabilitated, man. All right, you need to go back in there. This is what Esau's doing. Yeah, you say you would say, yeah, I'm sorry, Judge, Your Honor, for doing X, Y, and Z, and then we're gonna let you out, and you right back at it again, man. You wasn't really rehabilitated, man. All right, you just using your quote unquote lip service, and this is what Esau's out here doing, man. All right, let me read a little bit more of this here article, but it says, "Dear Indigenous people of Canada, I have come to your native land to tell you in person of my sorrow, to implore God's forgiveness, healing, and reconciliation, to express my closeness, and to pray with you and for you," the Pope tweeted on Monday. It's funny, there was a thing I was just reading, might have been yesterday or something like that. They was talking about out in Africa, you know, and I don't know if this was actually Jake that they was talking about or if this was Ham that they was talking about. They was like, yo, when Esau came to them, you know what I'm saying, they had land, and Esau came with Bibles, and they told them to close their eyes and to pray with them. And when they opened up their eyes, they had the Bibles and Esau had the land. All right, but this is what Esau does, man. All right, when it says, "Dear Indigenous people of Canada, I have come to your native lands to tell you in person my sorrow." Like, first of all, you came to us in our native land, but we still prisoners in our land. How come we don't own the land, man? All right, y'all gonna do everything. Now, look, they'll sit there and say how sorry they are all day long, but they won't be like, "Oh, well, look, give us the land and y'all go work for us." No, we can't have that. What good is it doing for y'all to do unto us what we done done unto y'all? That's not progressive. We just want to apologize and keep it moving. All right, let me grab this real quick and I'll come back to it. Actually, it's in Hebrews 12. I passed it. Yeah. Hebrews 12 and 16, it says, "Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. For you know how that afterwards, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected. For he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears." All right. So, hey, man, even though, you know, you want to go around now all of a sudden and you didn't oppress Jake. All right. You want to look for repentance and things like that, man. All right. Let me finish reading this because there's another precept popped in my mind. But, you know, like I believe it's in the book of Job, Lord's what we'll get to, where he says, you know, he seeks to please the poor, or to restore that, you know, what basically what was taken from them. All right. But hey, man, this Esau to the T, man. We're reading about him in the scriptures, man, and what he will be doing these latter days, come all decrepit. And when he's exposed, when he's finally exposed and he can't hide himself no more, it's not like when like I said, it's not because he was up on top and everything was all going in his favor and everything. He just woke up one day with an epiphany, say, you know what I was doing was wrong. I apologize. Here go all y'all stuff back. We the devil, man. I'm sorry. Nah, man. All right, we have to, like the scriptures say, he knows he had but a short time. with the end all be all, man. He's being exposed by the Spirit of the Lord through the prophets, man. All right, so now the nations are pointing him out. Is this the man? He can't hide himself no more. All right, so now he's put into that position where he has to answer these things, or else, how they say, you got to so-called address certain things before you lose everything, man. All right, because too many people are starting to notice these things, and what they're trying to do is control the narrative. All right. But nevertheless, let me keep reading. But again, going back into, you asking for forgiveness, y'all saying y'all sorry, but what, y'all just gonna be like, but see, they forgave us and everything. But what did you give up for all these things, man? All right, when you go to these people that that cause these people in the Middle East that y'all claim and cause y'all some deaths and everything over here in America that y'all celebrate once a year around September. All right, y'all didn't forget them people, man. Y'all went over there y'all went over there dropping bombs on them people, man. And y'all still hate them people to this day. And y'all say y'all have a holiday and representation of that every year. Some how they say, never forget or whatever. They got bumper stickers, all kind of things like that saying never forget, man. All right, so that hatred is still there for these people, man. All right, those people, if they try to say, we sorry, I'm like, yeah, well, whatever, y'all owe us something. In order for y'all to say sorry, y'all got to pay us back, It says, I ask forgiveness for the ways in which many members of the church cooperated in those projects of cultural destruction and assimilation stipulated by the government. So, cultural destruction, man. You wonder why Jake is so upside down, inside out, and right side up, man. Because why? Esau then came over and brainwashed our people, man. All right, completely taking us away from the law, statutes, commandments. I'm gonna just roughly paraphrase this, but when you read in where's that at? In First Maccabees chapter 1, like around verse 41 or something like that. We talk about Antiochus is like speaking on let me grab it real quick. This is Let me just jump around real quick, not to make this too long. First Maccabees 1:1. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote unto his whole kingdom that it should all be one people, and everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. For the king has sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah that they should follow the strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbath and the festival days. Here's the point. And pollute the sanctuary and the holy people. Let me read it again. And pollute the sanctuary and the holy people. So as we're reading about how Esau wanted to, let me go back. It says, I asked for forgiveness and for the ways in which many members of the church, or Esau, their body, all right, cooperated in those projects of cultural destruction, all right, taking them away from the law, statutes, and commandments, and assimilation stipulated by the government, which culminated in a system of residential schools, he added. So re-indoctrinating them, all right, in their ways, all right. So this is the point. This is the reason why they did that, to pollute the sanctuary and the holy people. Set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts. And what more, look at Jake as a whole. Jake as a whole is been fully brainwashed with Christianity. But when you look at the Northern Kingdom, they all worship this Catholicism one way or the other, man. They are heavily, like, you go around them, they ain't got nothing but these Virgin Marys up everywhere, Guadalupe is everywhere, man. All right, and then when you look at the Southern Kingdom, man, Jake is fully blown off of you got Jake. Basically, Jake, the Southern Kingdom is in, how you just call, like, I forgot the terminology for it, but just what we would call regular Christianity, Baptist, Methodist, and all these other branches and stuff like that. But nevertheless, hey man, Jake is fully immersed in this here Christianity, man. All right, and this Christianity has been brought on by Esau, man. All right, not what's actually in the scriptures, but what Esau then put onto us. What is how you call it, indoctrination. All right, it says and this is the point why they did these. Let me go back to 46. And polluted the sanctuary and the holy people, and set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts. All right, and that's another thing, man. I always say this. I remember growing up, Monday through Saturday, we would eat, basically chicken every night. And the only time we would not eat chicken, maybe on Saturday we might have some fish, but the only time we wouldn't really eat chicken would be or fish would be on Sunday. And on Sunday we would come home after church. We would be eating what? Some type of pork, whether it be ham, pork chop, or something else like that, man. All right, that was the only time we would be able to eat the quote unquote good meat would be on Sunday, man. All right, but look, man, this is what Esau didn't want to programming us with, man, because originally we knew not to eat swan, we knew not to eat pork, man. All right, but who the one who came and took all these things away from us, man? Esau was this person that did that, man. Just like in modern days times today, you got Jake doing all kind of bizarre, wild things that they wouldn't naturally be doing, man. Me growing up from remembering how things was in the 90s to nowadays, you see Jake doing some off the wall shit because they'd been around Esau too long, man. You like, wait a minute, y'all do what now? Y'all, that's some shit. We would know, just like, they got jokes saying like, we know who did what based off of what they was doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, such and such is laying down with the animal or something like that. Like, that's Esau, man. Esau do stuff like that, man. Esau do all kind of, just certain things that pop off. You could be like, all right, based off of whatever it was, like here on the radio, they got a little segment where they say black or white, and they'll name a crime and things that went on and everything else like that. Like, well, who do y'all think this was, black folks or white folks, based off of the so-called crime that they was doing, man? Or they got caught in the bathtub smoking meth and did such and such. Like, man, that was some Edomite shit that they was doing, man. Oh, they was over there playing spades and drinking some Hennessy, and then they got to fighting and pulled out a gun on somebody. Oh, that was Jake over there doing that type of stuff, man. But nowadays, you seeing Jake doing things that Esau be doing and everything else like that. Why? Because Jake has been around Esau too long, man. Dyeing their hair all blonde and getting blue contact lenses and trying to look like them, man. When in reality, these are like recessive genes, and Esau's the one to be trying to look like us. But nowadays, you got Jake trying to look and act like Esau, man. All right? Because, hey, this happened back then, and it's happening again now. It says, Verse 48, and that they should leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanliness and profanation. So, hey, leave their children's uncircumcised, and, before physically, mentally, all right, because we were supposed to be circumcised, or how do I put it? Like when you physically circumcised, you cut off, right? We were supposed to be cut off from everybody else. And what was supposed to cut us off from everybody else? The law, statutes, commandments. All right, this was going to be our light in front of the nations. They'd be like, oh, surely they got some kind of knowledge or some kind of power because they doing things different, man. All right, they different than the rest of these heathen. These heathen out here doing all kind of bugged out stuff, but we were supposed to be separate from these people. We was a holy people separated from the rest of these nations. But nevertheless, how do I put it? They want to make us unseparate from everybody else, put us into this here melting pot. But then they can always, be the accuser of our brethren, man. All right, you wonder why you got a bacon on every damn thing, man. So they can be like, see, Lord, look, Lord, you call these your people? All they do is sin day in and day out, day in and day out, day in and day out. Like, hey, I mean, this wasn't for us to be keeping. This was for them to be keeping. But then look, this is what they doing, man. All day long. It's like, you got two kids. One of them don't got no curfew. You know how we grew up around Esau and them. And Esau and them don't got no curfew. They can do whatever. They be cussing their parents out in there. Screw you, mom, and everything else like that. Like, that's Esau. They can do all that. But you try bringing your black ass home and saying that to your mom and see, don't she slap the taste out your mouth, man. They got their laws and you got your laws. But then they be trying to set you up to have all these, I forgot who that comedian, he said, he came with his little Edomite friend to the house and everything. He's like, whoa, wait a minute. She's intruding in your space. This is your space, man. Like, boy, Nathan, you better be quiet. My mom and them gives me sleeps around here. But nevertheless, it's a little funny joke. You got to laugh sometime. But, hey, that's, the spirit bear witness with our spirit, man. We're supposed to be separate from them. But then we fall into these troubles by trying to be assimilated with these people. But this is what they force onto us. Let me finish this off. It says that they should leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanliness and profanation, to the end that they might forget the law and change all the ordinances. All right. And now what would happen if you forget the law and change all the ordinances? Obviously, you would just sit there and would sin all day long, man. All right. You would just basically, if you didn't know that you couldn't eat pork, couldn't eat shrimp, couldn't eat crabs, and that's all you wanted to eat all day long, look, everything is all good. God gonna bless us. But then most of like, look, it's not that my ear is heavy and my arm is short that I can't save you, but your sins have separated you from your power, man. You constantly just in sin all day long. You over here at the dinner table praying over your crab legs, your shrimps, and your pork chops, and everything else like that, thinking and calling on how you call it, the other white meat, thinking that the Lord really finna hear you over all those things, man. But you don't even know no better because why? Esau done all these things to you, man. All right, let me finish a little more of this here article. It says, I asked forgiveness for the ways in which many members of the church cooperated in those projects of cultural destruction and assimilation stipulated by the government, which culminated in the system of residential schools, he added. The tweet came after the Pope visited former sites of the Ermiskin Indian residential schools in Moskowitz, Alberta. Visiting the local cemetery, Francis sought absolution from the four Cree Nation that lived in the area. I humbly, and then now when you go into and you go do a little research on these things, when you see a lot of these places like where the quote unquote indigenous people lived at, right, and they have these historic how you call them, historic cemeteries and things like that, and they said this is where the native people died and everything else. That's them Edomites that's buried in them damn tombs and everything else. Oh, this a mass Indian grave cemetery and everything else like that, and they got them all entombed out there like that, and some of these little islands and stuff. You think that these are the just Jake out there, but they look, man, you got to think about the times that they was living in, man. Esau came and slaughtered them. They was just putting them in mass graves and everything else like that. They was the ones that was going over there and being buried into those tombs and those nice things and everything else like that, and then and being called the so-called natives at that point in time, man. All right, and you can find that in all these different locations, whether it be the little islands of like Haiti, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Cuba, and all these places. Hey man, those you see some of the old historic sites and everything else like that, and they'll have like the cemeteries from where the so-called natives was dying in the wars against quote unquote Esau. All right, but then they would say that the natives was buried in these cemeteries when it's really that was Esau that was buried in those cemeteries, and they called them the natives, and the natives was buried in mass graves, man. All right, and just massive holes. You can look up places like the Devil's Punch Bowl and things like that. They wasn't putting Jake into these stone structures and things like that and encasing them in actual cemeteries, man. Since the 85-year-old pontiff arrived in Edmonton on Sunday with a prenatal pilgrimage to Canada that will take him from Alberta to Quebec as well as the far north region of Nuwap. I can't even pronounce it. The purpose of the trip was to mend relations with the First Nations over residential school programs, which Canada's Truth and Reconciliation Commission for 2008 to 2015 said amounted to cultural genocide. All right, and this has happened way before then as well, too. Seeking to civilize the children of native nations, the Canadian government separated them from their families and sent them into a network of boarding schools. What does that sound like is going on today at the borders, man? Same thing is going on in Jake's neighborhoods is growing up, man. Separating the families, getting the fathers out the household, putting them into these what you call public schools and teaching them all about the achievements of the Edomites and things like that. It's the same thing going on, but in a so-called more, not to say a more peaceful way. All right, it seems more peaceful, but you don't even realize what's going on, man. And all of a sudden, like now, we're not gonna go too far off topic, but you wonder why your little third grader coming home talking about he want to start wearing dresses and things like that nowadays. He think he a little girl nowadays, man. Where do you think all this is coming from? There's nothing new under the sun. This the damn devil we talking about here, man. He apologizing about the things and ain't really trying to pay up nothing back, but yet he's still doing the same thing to the same very day, man. All right, it's nothing new. All right, it says seeking to civilize the children of the native nations, the Canadian government separated them from their families and sent them to a network of boarding schools, which continue operating until 1969. Catholics operated 66 of the 139 institutions, with the Church of England responsible for another 36, and an estimated 150,000 indigenous children went through the system. In addition to the cultural genocide, however, the indigenous activists have accused the Catholic Church of a physical one as well, alleging widespread sexual abuse, even deaths at residential schools. And like I said, come on, what do you think is going on nowadays? So hypothetically, if we was just things was to go on for another 100 years or so, hey, we would be talking about the things that's going on nowadays, man. That's why I call Allah Yahweh Shemi Shah. The Lord say, the time wouldn't be shortened. There would no flesh to be saved, but for the elect's sake, the time's gonna be shortened. It says last year, several activist groups claim to have found mass graves, and like I said, man, they wasn't burying them in those like when you go to those places now, you look at the historic sites and everything else like that, and they all pretty much have these historic cemeteries and things like that, where it's like ain't nobody been buried over there for like 100 years or something like that. But it's the old those are all Edomites out there, man. No matter what they tell you, no matter what those types of names is, just go back and read between the lines. They tell you about these mass graves that they found. They wasn't giving Jake no how the hell they over here slaughtering these people and get them a so-called proper burial and everything else like that, man. All right, but then when you go and you look up about the mass graves and the mass burial sites, man, this is what they've been doing from the very beginning, man. All right, look up the Devil's Punch Bowl and things like that, man. All right, it says In the weeks that followed, several Catholic churches across the Western Canada went up in flames and suspected arson attacks. Trudeau's response was to denounce the residential schools as a dark and shameful chapter for our country's history, demanded Pope Francis come to Canada and seek forgiveness. All right, and again, they just doing all these things as a so-called, PR cover-up. All right. Canada has already paid billions of dollars in reparations to the First Nations and settlements, with some 90,000 surviving residential school students. And again, who are they paying this money to? They're really paying this money to the Edomites. They're not paying it to actual Jakes, man. But again, we're not going to go too far into it because they might flag the video on these things. But just think about it, man. Are they not really giving Jake no actual quote unquote reparations for these things, man? They'll go above and beyond for all these different things and find ways not to give you these things, but then they'll give you hey man, look at what just happened with the small business loans and all these trying to get out of these things. They deny you and you actually losing your restaurant, but then they'll go and bail out places like Nike and Amazon, people who they make billions of dollars in profits. Like, yo, bro, y'all could take a little pay cut, but mom and pops over there, they going up under, man. But nevertheless, like I said, man, don't let them fraud you out. Oh, we didn't gave them some money. No, man, y'all gave yourself some money, man. Just like how y'all have over in America saying, it's illegal to have a casino in America. You can only have casinos on native grounds, and only the Native Americans can own the casinos. But who are the people that's actually being representatives as the so-called Native Americans? These are actually Edomites, man. All right, so again, none of these, Jakes is actually receiving any of these benefits, man. All right. It says Catholic dioceses in Canada have contributed about $50 million and intended to add $30 million more over the next 5 years. Indigenous activists have also sought reparations from the British Crown as the head of both the Canadian state and the Church of England. Some critics have pointed out that while the radar imagery cited by Indigenous activists showed disturbances in the ground, no actual bodies have been found, only to be denounced as genocide deniers as much as the Canadian by much of the Canadian public. And see, this them Edomites, no, well, this wasn't true, like that how you call it, Edomite mind trick. They say, well, only 1% of Edomites had slaves. There was more black people that, black people were slave owners too, and they trying to make it seem like as if they wouldn't even, none of them owned slaves, and basically Jake had Jake in captivity over here, and they was, nah, man, come on, man, y'all, not how they say it was just a week ago. Y'all was talking about how y'all was the proud to free. Y'all fought for this land. Your forefathers died for this land. Who was they fighting? And who, when did y'all come over here? Oh, you didn't come over here. We came over here slaves too. Nah, man, don't listen to this BS, man. All right. Tell us, oh, we ain't find all these things. But hey, the question was, when y'all brought y'all happy ass over here, all right, was there or was there not people that was already over here thriving and living? What happened to those people, man? They didn't just all of a sudden move. Oh, you guys can have it. We're going to just go move. And we're going to, we're going to just go jump off into the water and kill ourselves. No, man. All right, these people went and fought against these things. You find a lot of these, forts and ports and things like that where Esau came and put in work on Jake, man. All right. It says, matter of fact, we're not going to read that last paragraph. But nevertheless, man, hey, man, this is some madness that Esau got going on. All right, let me, I think I might have read this, but we're going to read it again real quick. And, was it Jeremiah 16? Yeah. Jeremiah 16 and 19, it says, "Oh, Yahweh, my strength and my fortress and my refuge in the day of affliction. The Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth, and they shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profit." All right. And, you got half the damn crowd of these damn Edomites that's, they could be Jakes. All right. That's now standing out because, like, you see, these people that's not so smart, they don't really know too much on the deeper levels, but on the surface level, they see Black Lives Matter, and they think it's in support of Jake and everything else like that. You see, the majority of these people that's in these groups is Edomites, denouncing white supremacy, denouncing all these different things, calling out all this wickedness and everything else like that. You got a bunch of these so-called Edomites that's, again, I don't know if they're Edomites or Jakes, but they look like Edomites that's denouncing all these things. All right, oh, y'all told us lies about all this stuff. This is all bad. Sometimes I hear these people like, damn, y'all over here fighting harder than what Jake is fighting for. Y'all know more about this than what Jake know more about these things, man. All right, but nevertheless, you got the other half of these damn Edomites. All right, they're like, nah, this ain't what it is and everything else. Like, they're like, nah, this is y'all history, man. All right, oh, why do I have to be feeling all bad for being a so-called white man and everything else like that? Like, have you seen your history? Have you seen your track record? Have you seen what you've done unto the whole earth? The whole earth know what you've done, because we all got bumps and bruises and wounds, and it was all created by you. You the only one that's walking around able-bodied around here, while some of us got broken arms, broken legs. Like if you got one Moabite, one Japhite, one Ammonite, one Hamite, one Israelite, one Ishmaelite. You put all the different nations in a room with Esau. We all bruised, bumped, and bandaged up, broken limbs and everything else. And Esau sitting over here happy-go-lucky, like, how come we all got damage done to us and you the only one that's over here smiling and everything? Oh, because you was the one that was oppressing everybody, man. You're the problem out of the whole group, man. It ain't us. We all got, one thing in common. All of our wounds come from you. All right. But nevertheless, Esau is like, they been inheriting lies, man. Been, told that, oh, this was their land from the beginning. Like I said, they didn't claim these people's nationalities and saying that these are the people that, oh, I'm in, they say, go back, get out of our country, go home, and this and that. Like, yo, bro, wait a minute. Y'all are not, you're not the indigenous people to this here land. Y'all migrated. You immigrants came over here and stole Canada, stole the U.S., stole the little islands and the Caribbean islands and everything else like that. Stole all these different nations, talking about telling everybody else that they need to go home. How dare you tell the so-called quote unquote Mexicans to go home, to go get out of our land? Like, bro, this was their land before y'all land. What are you talking about? Telling the Native Americans the same thing. But yet and still, hey man, they've inherited what? Lies, man. All right, things that don't profit them. All right. Let me go from there to quoted this earlier in Job. Job 20, I believe. Job 20 and 10. His children shall seek to please the poor. All right, going into you are who your forefathers are, man. Their forefathers did these things, but then now as he's coming back, it says his children shall seek to please the poor, and his hand shall restore their goods. And so now you're starting to see, oh, we apologize for our forefathers. We apologize for these things. We apologize for what's going on. We're trying to make it right and everything. Again, you have some of them that's starting to see all these things and the things that they wind up doing, and now they're trying to please the poor. All right, now they're looking for a little mercy right about now, because some of them can feel that heat around their collar, man. They know that it's some shit finna go down, man. They know they finna have to pay up the tab for things that they wind up doing. They know that all eyes are on them. Like, bro, this is the man that did all these things on the earth. So now they're like, you know what? Hey, before y'all come and take everything, let us try to offer you an olive branch real quick. Let us give you something, man. Let us try to make some of this here right, man. Let us try to make so-called peace with y'all before y'all come and take everything from us, man. All right. But yet and still it says his children shall seek to please the poor, and his hand shall restore their goods. All right. So, hey, nevertheless, he's going to wind up vomiting all these things up. And we could, let me just read down a little bit. It says his bones are full of the sin of his youth, which shall lie down with him from the dust. So like, hey man, we could go on not only what you done today. Like I said, you send your kids to school today, and your boy want to come home talking about, you send little Billy to school, and now he want to come home being Brandy. You know what I'm saying? But like, whoa, what's going on, man? All right, Esau over here indoctrinating your child. He's doing that today. But what did he do back in the olden days? You send Gad to school. Now they coming back. Oh, no, we Edomites now. You know what I'm saying? Hey, now these kids want to come back home doing all the little things that the Edomites be doing and cutting off their hair, taking their heritage. Oh, no, we're Catholics now. Oh, we eat pork now. We do all these things now, man. This is what Esau was doing to our people. It says, though wickedness be sweet in his mouth, though he hide it under his tongue. Oh, I want to apologize to these folks and everything else like that. Oh, we want to offer our condolences. All right. Though he spare it and forsake it not, but keep it still within his mouth. Yet his meat is in his bowels, is turned, and is the gall of asp within him. He hath swallowed down riches, and he shall vomit them up again. The Most High shall cast it out of his belly. So, hey, he's gonna have to give up all these resources. So, hey, it ain't no, and what is he really giving back? Oh, 50 million, 30 million, $80 million. Like, bro, that ain't even 1% of what you done taken from our people, man. All right, I was looking into Hawaii. All right, and I believe I forgot what the stats was on Hawaii. It's like 80 or 90% of the land is owned up by what, like 8 or 9 different landholders or whatever like that. And the majority of them is corporations and things like that. The majority of the people don't even own a damn land over there, man. All right, now granted, they didn't move some other people that was over there, but Jake was over there as well too, man. All right, but Esau, he gonna move the borders around and move people into different areas and say, oh no, these people was over here first, and then these are the no, man. Jake was inhabiting over there as well too, man. All right, but let me go from there to oh, did we just? I don't know if I read this or not. His hand shall seek to please the poor. Yeah, I read it. I'm going to read it again. Job 20 and 10. His children shall seek to please the poor, and his hand shall restore their goods. So, hey, this is the point to where we at right now, where Jake is, or Esau is looking to, please the poor. And I read this earlier, but let me grab it again. Where is it at? Oh, Hebrews 12 actually. I think it's 12 and 16. 12. Let me just read from 12 and 17. It says, "For you know how." This is speaking about Esau. Well, let me just start at 16. "Least there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. For you know how afterwards, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected. For he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears." So, hey, just because he want to say he's sorry now and he didn't got all these things, when he gonna, oh man, we could have read that as well too. But let me see if it's right here. Verse 18. Actually, we can grab it. I think I know where it said. But let me read this as well. Job 20 and 18 says, "That which he labored for shall he restore, and shall not swallow it down. According to his substance shall the restitution be, and he shall not rejoice therein." So all that he's taken from us, he's going to wind up giving it back up, including himself, man. Because he used our lives, our labor, our children's labor, and from generation to generation. So he's going to have to pay it back. "Because thou hast oppressed and have forsaken the poor, because thou hast violently taken away a house which he builded not." All right. So, hey, again, this land was already inhabited by somebody else. It was already established by somebody else, and he wound up taking it away from our people. Now he want to go around and after he didn't reestablish it and brainwash us, and we forgot about the atrocities that he done to us. All right. Now all of a sudden he want to how do I say now all of a sudden he want to apologize for it. Where is it at? Oh, this is the part, the one I wanted. Isaiah 33 and 1. It says, "Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled, and dwelt treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil," all right, and Esau got the whole damn earth in his hand right about now. "When thou shalt cease to spoil, then thou shalt be spoiled. And when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee." Now that Esau then got all the resources up under him, all right, now he's trying to apologize and make amends again. He's saying sorry and admitting what he did to you, but he ain't trying to give you nothing for it, man. All right, what the hell is 80 or $100 million comparably to the whole land that you done took, man? We would have made that, you know what I'm saying? We would have made, think about, look, you take all of Jeff Bezos' money right now, right? Just right now, by tomorrow at this same time, he'd have $100 million. So, like, what the hell? Like, give us, like, you took away our resources to make all this here money and everything else, man. That $100 million you talking about, that ain't nothing, man. All right, you didn't made way more than that up off of us over year one with us in your captivity, man. All right, but nevertheless, this is Esau and his dealings, man. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and close out. I wanted to read some more precepts, but this one went on way longer than what I wanted to. But hey, man, this is Esau to a T, man. I was gonna read in Ezekiel 36, about how he had taken the ancient high places, man. All right, Ezekiel 36 and verse 1. Let me start there. Verse 2, it says, "Thus saith Yahweh power, because the enemy have said against you, Aha, even the ancient high places are in our possessions. Therefore prophesy and say, Thus saith Yahweh power, because they have made you desolate and swallowed you up on every side, that you might be a possession unto the residue of the heathen, and that you are taken up in the lips of talkers and the infamy of the people." So that's, you have the people that's walking around talking about all these drunk ass Native Americans, these drunk ass Indians. Look, they on these reservations. They ain't gonna never be nothing. Who put them in that state of mind? Who put them in that state of being, man? Esau did this, man. All right, he took the ancient high places, man. He took the land of Israel. All right, you had the northern kingdom that was already over here. So, like, this was our land as well, too. And Esau came over and took that as well, man. All right. It says, "Therefore, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of Yahweh power. Thus saith Yahweh power to the mountains, and to the hills, and to the rivers, to the valleys, and to the desolate wastes, and to the cities that are forsaken, which became a prey and derision to the residue of the heathen round about. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea." All right, is another way of saying Esau, "which have appointed my land into their possessions with all joy of heart, with despiteful minds, and cast it out for a prey." So, hey, man, this is what they wound up doing, man. All right, this is what they want to do, and taking our land and appointing it into their hand. All right. I could have read this as well too, but let me just read Ezekiel 35 and 10. "Because thou hast said, These two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it wherever Yahweh was there." All right. So, hey, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, Esau wound up taking, possession of the people and the lands where they dwelt at, man. And thou shalt know that I am Yahweh, and I have heard thy blasphemies which thou hast spoken against the mountains of Israel, saying, they are laid desolate, they are given to us to consume. They say manifest destiny. Oh, the Lord gave us this land. The Lord gave y'all into our hands and everything else like that, which, prophecy had to be fulfilled. But hey, nevertheless, the scripture also say you're going to be judged for touching the apple of the Most High's eyes, man. It says, verse 13, thus with your mouth have you boasted against me and multiplied your words against me, and I have heard them. All right, so hey, man, this is, let me keep reading. Verse 14, and thus saith Yahweh power, when the whole earth rejoices, I will make thee desolate. And thou did rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel, because it was desolate, so will I do unto thee, and thou shalt be desolate, O Mount Seir, and all Idumea, even all of it, and they shall know that I am Yahweh. So, hey, man, this is about to be your end-all, be-all, man, because, look, you done made us desolate on every side. Now the Most High is about to recompense you for what you've done unto us, man, and recompense you double unto your doing. So I'm going to go ahead and close out with that. Lord willing, the elect was edified with this here lesson. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders, great millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, I can push this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say, stay strong. Shalom.